In the 12th century, Western Christian thinkers began to reintroduce ancient Greek philosophy into Christian theology. And very quickly, a controversy emerged because philosophy, especially the science of Aristotle, contradicted certain aspects of Christian doctrine. For instance, Aristotle teaches that the world is eternal. But the medieval church believed that the world had a beginning, described in the book of Genesis, and an end, which would be reached when Jesus reappeared on earth. A debate erupted in the 12th century amongst European thinkers. What should be done when philosophy contradicts theology? No man did more to inflame this intellectual controversy than Peter Abelard, a French scholastic thinker who sided very much with Aristotle and reinterpreted several tenets of Christianity to make them fit with the Greek philosopher's logic. In particular, Abelard inserted Aristotelian ethics into Christian theology. He taught that the crucifixion of Jesus did not redeem humankind by paying the devil a divine ransom, but instead by inspiring Christians who read about the crucifixion to live more virtuously. Abelard was a genius, and his logical arguments brilliant and influential. But his own personal life became a scandal and ultimately destroyed him and his teachings. For Abelard was one of the most famous teachers in Paris, and at the start of the 12th century, demand for schooling had turned teachers into celebrities, both rich and famous. And as the historian Richard Southern phrased it, Abelard was the prince of freelance teachers. He became master of students at the Cathedral School of Notre Dame, a teacher very popular with his students. In 1115, a powerful canon at the cathedral hired Abelard to teach his niece, a talented classical scholar named Heloise. Abelard and his pupil Heloise began an affair, and soon she became pregnant. The affair between Abelard and Heloise became a Parisian scandal, as they were unmarried, and teachers at this time were required to remain celibate. The two married, but Abelard insisted Heloise keep the marriage a secret to protect his academic career. Eventually, Abelard ordered Heloise to a convent. Her uncle was enraged that his niece had been so mistreated and diminished, and he hired men to capture and castrate Abelard. Abelard, now devastated, retired to the Abbey of Saint Denis to become a humble monk. His reputation as a scholar ruined. The church even ordered Abelard's writings burnt in 1121. His personal scandal ruined his advocacy for philosophy. In his later life as a monk, Abelard still produced several influential texts, including his work Sic et Non, which juxtaposes contradictory statements by church fathers and then explains how students should reconcile such statements through logic. Although Abelard died a humble monk, his pedagogical program in Sic et Non was adopted by Peter Lombard, whose textbook became the basis of Western scholasticism. More timeless than his pedagogy was Abelard's continuing relationship through letters with his wife Heloise, now a nun. Their letters are touching. They reveal the tragedy of their relationship and the way the two made sense of their love. For Heloise remained deeply in love with Abelard, and she drew strength from her love. She worked hard as a nun, since it had been her husband Abelard's wish that she become one. Abelard looked back on their relationship and felt only bitterness and loss. Here is an excerpt from Heloise's letter to Abelard, describing their affair. So sweet to me were those delights of lovers that they can neither displease nor pass from my memory. Whatever I am doing, they always come to mind. Not even when I am asleep do they spare me. And although I ought to lament what I have done, I sigh rather for what I now have to forego. Not only the things we did, but the places and times in which we did them are so fixed with you in my mind that I reenact them all. Abelard replied, not with a love note, but a lamentation about ever having had an affair with Heloise. Heloise, my lust sacrificed our bodies to such great infamy. God truly loved you, Heloise, not I. My feelings were lust, not love. I satisfied my wretched desires in you. So weep for your Savior, not for your seducer, for your Redeemer, not for your defiler, for the Lord who died for you, not for me, his servant, who is now truly free for the first time. The story of Abelard and Heloise reveals the impact that one couple and their scandalous affair had on the direction of philosophy within Christianity. At the same time, we see, through their tragedy, how medieval cultural norms could cruelly destroy two lovers.